David Orguttery is the Chief Executive Officer of Insource Financial Advisors of Lincoln, Nebraska. David Guttery and Seth Edgell are financial advisors who represent Emeritus Investment Company, LLC, and Emeritus Advisory Services. Please stay tuned through the end of the video for additional important disclosure information.
Hello everyone, I'm joined today by Seth Edgell of Insource Financial Advisors to discuss estate planning essentials and how to protect your family and your legacy. Seth, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about estate planning, a topic that can really make a significant difference in people's lives.
So before we dive into the details, I understand you have a quick disclaimer.
Absolutely. I want to emphasize that everything we discuss today is for general educational purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, or personalized financial advice. Everyone's situation is unique and laws vary by state. Also, keep in mind that certain provisions of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act may sunset after 2025, which could change how some estates are taxed. If you have specific concerns, I recommend consulting an attorney, CPA, or licensed financial professional.
Well, thank you for clarifying. So for someone who might be unfamiliar with the concept of estate planning, could you explain what it is and why it's important?
Estate planning is about deciding how your assets and personal affairs will be handled if you pass away or become incapacitated. This often involves drafting legal documents such as a last will and testament, living trusts, and powers of attorney. It's also about appointing a healthcare proxy and ensuring your beneficiaries are up to date. The purpose is to reduce complexity, potential legal fees, and taxes for your loved ones. Plus, it provides peace of mind, knowing your wishes are clearly documented and enforceable.
Well, what do you consider the most crucial components of a typical estate plan?
Generally, a comprehensive estate plan includes a last will and testament to outline asset distribution and name an executor, a living trust, revocable or irrevocable, to help avoid probate and provide clarity on managing assets, a durable power of attorney to handle financial matters if you become incapacitated, a healthcare proxy or medical power of attorney for healthcare decisions on your behalf, a living will or advanced healthcare directive detailing your wishes on life support or medical treatments, up-to-date beneficiary designations for retirement accounts, insurance policies, and other assets that will pass outside of a will.
Well, you mentioned living trust. Some people think trusts are only for the ultra wealthy. Is that a fair assumption?
It's a common misconception. A revocable living trust can benefit individuals at various wealth levels. It can help streamline the probate process for certain assets or avoid probate entirely. Irrevocable trusts can offer additional benefits such as potential tax advantages or creditor protection, but they also mean giving up some control over those assets. Whether or not you need a trust depends on specific goals: privacy, potential tax savings, or managing assets for beneficiaries who might need guidance.
Well, speaking of tax savings, how do estate or inheritance taxes factor into planning?
At the federal level, there's currently a high estate tax exemption thanks to the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. However, if the law sunsets after 2025, that exemption could decrease significantly, potentially affecting more estates. Some states also levy estate or inheritance taxes with lower thresholds, which can come as a surprise to families who thought they were exempt federally. Planning now through tools like gifting strategies, trusts, and proper beneficiary designations can help mitigate future tax exposure if exemptions drop.
Well, let's talk about how often someone should review or update these documents. Is it once set, done forever?
Not at all. I advise clients to review their estate plan every 3 to 5 years or whenever there's a major life event, such as a marriage, divorce, new child, a significant change in financial status, or even a move to another state. Beneficiary designations on retirement accounts and insurance policies also need to be kept current because they generally override what's stated in a will or trust.
Well, what happens if someone doesn't have a valid will in place?
Then their estate is subject to intestacy laws of the state where they live. Essentially, the state decides who inherits assets based on legal formulas, which might not align with the individual's actual wishes. It also tends to prolong the probate process, creating additional cost and stress for the family at a difficult time.
Well, let's touch on potential risk. Are there common pitfalls you see people make when it comes to estate planning?
Definitely. A few big ones. Procrastination, not having any estate plan in place. Neglecting incapacity, only focusing on distributing assets after death, but failing to name powers of attorney for finances or health care. Ignoring changes in law. The possibility of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act sunsetting in 2025 is a prime example. Failing to update beneficiary designations, especially after marriage, divorce, or a new child. Overlooking state-level taxes. Some states impose estate inheritance taxes with lower exemptions than the federal government.
Well, how does probate factor into all of this?
Probate is the court-supervised process of authenticating a will and settling an estate. It can be time-consuming, costly, and public. A clear, up-to-date will simplifies probate while assets are placed in a living trust might bypass probate entirely. That can be a big relief for families, especially if privacy and efficiency are priorities.
What about your thoughts on the sunset of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act? Should people act now?
If your estate is close to the current exemption, you could find yourself over the limit if it reverts to a lower threshold. Lifetime gifting or using irrevocable trusts might help reduce the taxable estate. Portability, where a surviving spouse can use any unused exemption from a deceased spouse, could also come into play. But all these strategies depend on your specific assets and family situation. Consulting with an estate attorney or financial planner now is wise if you suspect the law changes might affect you.
Well, let's pivot to actionable steps. What should someone do if they're just starting or suspect their estate plan is outdated?
I recommend these steps. 1. Take inventory, list your assets, including digital ones like online banking or cryptocurrency. 2. Name fiduciaries. Decide who will serve as executor or trustee, who will hold your powers of attorney, and who will be guardian for minor children. 3. Update beneficiaries. Ensure retirement accounts, life insurance policies, and any payable on death accounts match your wishes. 4. Consider potential tax changes. Talk to a professional about how changes to exemptions might affect your estate. 5. Consult professionals. An attorney can draft or update documents to comply with your state's laws, and a financial planner integrates your estate plan with your overall financial goals.
Any last thoughts for viewers who might still be on the fence about estate planning?
I'd say estate planning is about clarity and protection. You're safeguarding your family from having to make complex decisions with no guidance. You're also potentially saving them time and money in the long run. With possible legislative shifts on the horizon, there's really no downside to making sure your documents and beneficiaries are in order.
This has been extremely informative, Seth. Thank you for shedding light on estate planning essentials and how people can prepare for potential changes after 2025.
Thank you for having me. If anyone needs personalized consultation or has questions unique to their situation, feel free to reach out to InSource Financial Advisors. I'm always happy to help people navigate these important decisions.
Well, thanks again, Seth. We appreciate your insights. For our audience, remember that every individual situation is different, so don't hesitate to seek professional advice when it comes to estate planning.
Absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity to share, and I look forward to helping more people get their financial and estate affairs in order.
Well, that concludes our discussion on estate planning. We hope you found it helpful and encourage you to like, subscribe, and share this video if you did. Until next time, take care. And for additional information, Seth may be reached through the means listed upon the following screen. For InSource Financial Advisors, I'm Brandon Dawkins.
David Guttery and Seth Edgell independently offer securities and investment advisory services through Emeritus Investment Company, LLC, member FINRA, SIPC, and Emeritus Advisory Services. Information provided in today's segments is gathered from sources believed to be reliable. However, its accuracy cannot be guaranteed and should not be interpreted as tax or legal advice. Any performance stated is past performance and is not indicative of future results.